Well, at least you're still a conference, right? After giving the Pac-2 an olive branch, thinking Oregon State and Wazoo would just eventually merge into the conference, they pulled a coup and robbed you of 5 teams seemingly overnight, including your defending conference champs in Boise State. The Mountain West has learned an old but good bit of advice in life. DTA. Don't trust anyone. In today's college football, it's a dog-eat-dog world, and all the conferences are willing to stab one another in the back if it means survival or a bit more TV revenue on their contract. Say it with me, kids. Money talks, bullshit walks.
What the barnacles?
And the Mountain West has lost a fuck ton of monetary value over the offseason with the exodus of its members. Still, it could be an interesting conference to watch this season. Let's take a look at the new Mountain West and find out if we can pan any gold from this stream. First, though, I gotta pay my own bills.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Before we dig through the remains of the Mountain West, I need to thank today's sponsor, PrizePicks, America's #1 sports picks app. And honestly, this might be the perfect conference for it. Because after realignment came through and stole half of the goddamn teams, trying to predict Mountain West football this year feels like walking into a casino after somebody turned the lights off. Who's good? Who survived? Who the fuck are half these people? PrizePicks is giving me something a little bit simpler to work with. It's a daily fantasy sports app where you build a lineup by picking more or less on player stats, passing yards, rushing yards, points, strikeouts, whatever sport you're watching. You can also make team picks, including who wins and what the point spread of the victory might be. And if looking at 2 Mountain West teams and picking a winner feels like determining which raccoon wins a knife fight, you don't even have to do that. You can make a pick on the total points scored in the game instead. That's usually how I use PrizePicks anyway. I have to sit here and dig through all this bullshit like an unemployed private investigator, so when I see a matchup or a player projection I like, I can actually do something with it. Like pick the Bengals to win the goddamn Super Bowl. No, I won't shut up about it. No, it's not going to backfire on me horribly. Deal with it. PrizePicks is now available in most of the United States, including California, Florida, and Texas. Right now, when you play your first $5 lineup, you will get $150 in bonus lineups if you win. That is the new offer after all. Just use code HMA when you sign up, lock in that first $5 or more lineup, and if you win, you get $150 in bonus lineups. Hit the link in the description and check out PrizePicks, America's #1 sports picks app. And please play responsibly. The Mountain West has already made enough questionable financial decisions for all of us.
We now join our regularly scheduled programming already in progress.
Chair Force is looking to get back to doing what Chair Force does best, chewing up 8 minutes of clock just to score a touchdown. I don't know if that's enough to do better than the 4-8 bullshit you pulled last year, but I know better than to suggest firing Troy Calhoun, who's entering his 20th season as the head coach. He's had multiple 10-win seasons in his tenure and is the winningest coach in program history. There is also some optimism heading into this season, with the biggest reason for optimism being Liam Sorka. Before breaking his arm last year, the Falcons were averaging 518 yards and 38 points per game through the first 4 weeks. If he can stay healthy, this offense immediately gets a huge shot of adrenaline. He'll also have a new weapon in Owen Allen, who really came into form late last season with 3 100-yard rushing games in the final month. And while Air Force lost 3 starters up front, they'll counter that with the heaviest offensive line in program history, averaging over 300 pounds. Now, I know that sounds weird to say because that's kind of the standard for a lot of universities, but remember that this is a fucking service academy, and having big boys on the football team in a military academy is a rarity with all the goddamn training that they do. Here's the catch. Bigger doesn't always mean better. That offensive line is still inexperienced as all hell, and so is the defensive line. As for the entire defense, they gave up over 30 points per game last year, their worst defensive performance in over a decade. For a program that's built its identity on discipline and defense, that's just not good enough. I think Air Force will bounce back from last year, but this team is going as far as Sorka can take them. They cannot afford to run his ass into the ground because right now, he's the engine that makes this airplane fly. If he stays healthy, the Falcons can make some noise in the Mountain West. If not, it's going to be another long flight. Timmy Chang finally has this program trending in the right direction. After going 9-4 and beating Cal in the Hawaii Bowl, the Rainbow Warriors suddenly look like legitimate contenders instead of just the team everyone wants to visit in November for a beach vacation. The biggest reason? This poor bastard was held together with duct tape and coconuts last year. He played through a right ankle injury, a foot injury, and an injury to his throwing arm, and still threw for over 3,100 yards and 24 touchdowns. This fucker played like Maui getting his hook back after going 12 rounds with Taka. He'll also have one of the better receiver rooms in the Mountain West, with Power 4 transfers Trey Griffiths, Devin Alves, and Carson Brown joining the party. If Hawaii's offense is firing, they're going to put up points. Defensively, Dennis Thurman is trying to build his aggressive Lions Den defense. If they can consistently pressure quarterbacks, that'll get them far late in the year. The concerns are pretty obvious though. The offensive line is almost completely new. And after watching Alejado spend last season collecting injuries like a scalper collecting Pokemon cards, protecting him has to be priority number one. The secondary also has a ton of new faces, so expect a lot of growing pains early on. Overall, if Alejado stays healthy, this offense is good enough to beat just about anybody in the Mountain West. The key phrase there being, if Alejado stays healthy. Because asking him to survive another season looking like he got hit by a bus every Saturday probably isn't sustainable. Jeff Choate enters year 3 with a 6-19 record, and it's pretty clear what Nevada is trying to do. Get back to playing competent defense. Because ever since 2022, the Wolfpack have forgotten how to score. They averaged just 17.5 points per game last year, and for a program that used to light up the scoreboards, that's been painful as hell to watch. The good news is the offensive line should be one of the better units in the Mountain West. 3 starters return, including tackles Jack Foster and Zach Conkenauer, which should open plenty of holes for running back Herschel Turner. Defensively, Dylan LaBarbera is the guy. He led them with 87 tackles and paced the conference with 17 tackles for loss. So at least the Wolfpack has one proven playmaker. The biggest question is the quarterback. Whether it's Carter Jones or Luke Duncan, somebody has to stop turning the ball over. Since 2022, Nevada has thrown more interceptions than touchdowns. That's not just bad. That's the quarterback pretending to be fucking Santa Claus every goddamn Saturday. Winning football games gets a lot easier when you stop handing the other team free possessions. Strange concept, I know. The defense also has to start taking the ball away themselves after forcing just 15 turnovers last year, while the offense coughed it up 27 times. Until they figure out the turnover problem on both sides of the ball, I don't see any fucking optimism here. Jason Eck wasted absolutely no time at all starting off last year. After taking over a program that had been stuck in neutral for a long fucking time, he went 9-4 in year 1, spoiled San Diego State's bid for a conference title appearance in a double overtime thriller on senior night, and nearly knocked off Minnesota in the Guaranteed Rate Bowl. That is one hell of a debut. The defense should once again be the strength of the Mountain West, with co-defensive player of the year Jackson Eck coming back, along with Brian Booker, Jalen McIver, and Xavier Slayton on the defensive line. They held opponents to just 112 rushing yards per game last year, and that front 6 should be one of the best in the entire conference. The offensive line also returns 4 starters, giving the running game a solid foundation to get behind. But who the fuck is carrying the football? And who the fuck is catching it? The receiver room took a hit back in the spring with injuries to Troy O'Meara and Miles Williams, while running back Deshaun Buchanan is expected to miss fall camp. That puts a lot of pressure on Scottree Humphrey, who showed flashes last year but now has to become the guy or else everything goes to hell. Jason Eck has the program believing again, and that defense is good enough to keep them in the game. The question is whether the offense has enough weapons to keep up, because eventually your defense needs a break, and keeping them out on the field all game long usually does not go well.
Run, bitch! Run!
The Alabama of FCS has finally arrived to the top flight of college football. North Dakota State is making the jump to the FBS after going 26-3 under Tim Polasek. And if you think they're just here to make up the numbers, you haven't been paying any damn attention. I call them the Alabama of FCS for a reason. They have 10 FCS national championships since 2011, 17 national titles overall. They went to 11 straight title games between 2011 and 2021 and have been an NFL factory, with Carson Wentz and Trey Lance being notable examples. They are not your standard garden variety FCS to FBS transition team. This program could potentially become the Death Star of the group of 6. The offense is in good hands with fifth-year quarterback Nathan Hayes, who the coach says has a real wow factor, whatever that means. The Bison also have confidence in DJ Scott and Miles Mitchell to replace leading rusher Barika Kitnu. Offensively, this team should be nasty. Keenan Wilson anchors a defensive line that returns plenty of talent, and the secondary has enough experience and portal additions to build off what was the best scoring defense in the FCS last season. The biggest question is at receiver. Replacing Bryce Lane and his 1,000-yard production will not be easy, and somebody has to become Hayes' go-to target. The schedule also isn't doing them any favors, with multiple trips to California and a fucking flight to Hawaii. Welcome to the FBS. I hope everybody likes flying home to North Dakota in late November. I honestly think the Bison are going to shock a few fuckers this year. This program has been bullying the FCS for 2 decades, and they aren't making this move just to go 4-8 and get a paycheck. The Bison are here to compete, and if an FBS team overlooks them because they used to be just another FCS team, they're going to end up looking like dumbass tourists at Yellowstone Park who try to pet the wild fluffy cows. Northern Illinois has made the jump to the Mountain West, and honestly, I have one question. What the fuck are you doing here? Don't tell me it's money talks, bullshit walks. Did you bastards whack your skull on the table and think, oh boy, I want to see the Rocky Mountains? The Huskers are closer to half of the American Conference than they are to most of their new conference opponents in the Mountain West. Any money you make will be lost on airplane tickets and bad hotel food. Conference realignment remains undefeated, and making the names of said conferences make absolutely no fucking sense. Where are the mountains in Northern Illinois? On the field, Tully Johnson Jr. is more than capable of replacing Shavion Wright after rushing for over 700 yards last year. And the offensive line should continue to be a strength after allowing just 19 sacks with Ross Sligel and Landon Huron. That's the end of the good shit because literally everything else is broken. Thomas Hammock is off to the NFL. Rob Harley has taken over. The quarterback job is completely up for grabs, and the defense returns just 12% of its snaps from last season. 12%! At that point, you're not replacing starters, you're basically fielding the witness protection all-stars. I think NIU will eventually be fine, but year one is gonna get ugly. There's just way too much turnover and not enough proven answers. Enjoy the view of the mountains as you get knocked on your fucking ass.
Spartans! What is your profession?
Ken Niumatalolo enters year 3 of his tenure, and if you hated watching San Jose State struggle to score last year, good news! They're trying to do the exact opposite this season. Offensive coordinator Craig Stutzman brought in his spread and shred offense, and the Spartans loaded up through the portal accordingly. Luke Weaver comes over from Hawaii as quarterback, while receivers Jordan Anderson, Jerry McClure, and Anthony Ivey give him a completely rebuilt receiving core. Add in Jabari Bates and West Virginia transfer Tyler Jacklick, and this offense should be much more explosive. What about that defense? Oh, yeah. The defense was an absolute shit show last year. 32.5 points per game. Dead last in the Mountain West. So Coach Ken basically hit Control, Alt, Delete, and started over on everything. New defensive coordinator Bojay Fili-Moitu walks in with a roster full of newcomers, which means this unit is one giant mystery. Little Sparty is one of the hardest teams to predict every year. The offense has enough pieces to surprise people and make games fun to watch. The defense, however, could either be much better than last year or the equivalent of a screen door on a submarine. It's a bird! It's a plane! No! It's Desert Rat Darren Mullen! And how was his first year in Vegas? Honestly, I'd say it went pretty damn well. The Rebels went 10-4, made the Mountain West Championship, and proved that 2024 wasn't a fluke. The offense got a boost with Jackson Arnold taking over at quarterback after transferring from Auburn this offseason. He's joined by Jaden Thomas, who returns after rushing for nearly 1,000 yards, and 2 returning starters on the offensive line should help keep the ground game rolling. Defensively, they're also looking really, really good. John Pope anchors the secondary after an 80-tackle season. I have no fucking idea how to pronounce that. Hang on. Alu toi ole matu. Blessing alu toi lo alu toi ola. Fuck. Alu tole alu tueo lameo tu. God damn. Returns to lead the linebackers. That is a damn solid core. The biggest concern, however, is going to be replacing the top 4 wide receivers from last year. Somebody out of Tayshaun Lyons, D'Angelo Irvin Jr., or Taz Reddix has to become Arnold's top guy. The defensive line also has some new faces that need to grow up in a hurry. UNLV will once again be a contender for the conference championship. However, this time it's much easier, with Boise State packing their shit and fucking off for the Pac-12. The Rebels might finally be the bride and not the bridesmaid. Let's hope this season doesn't end like a lot of Vegas weddings, where the Elvis impersonator is drunk off his ass while watching an absolute death spiral happen in front of him. Welcome back to UTEP football, where the name UTEP doesn't mean University of Texas El Paso. It means utter trash every possession. It is year 3 of Scotty Walden's banishment to El Paso, and he's about to earn his ass a one-way ticket down the Rio fucking Grande. UTEP went 2-10 last year and 3-9 the year before that. The Miners haven't been bowling since 2021, and I'd happily wager that they won't be back this year as well. Sure, there are some reasons for some good old-fashioned UTEP false optimism. E.J. Colson comes over from Incarnate Word after having a strong FCS career and should hopefully stabilize the quarterback position. The secondary is also the biggest strength of the team, with Xavier Smith, Justin Content, and Cody Lowe leading the way. The issue is that everything up front is fucking trash. UTEP averaged just 3.8 yards per carry last season, so if they want to have a hope in hell of running the goddamn ball, the boys on the O-line need to get it together and fast. Is the schedule at least going to be kind? Okay, maybe not Oregon State, but whoever made that schedule clearly wants the Miners to fucking die. September won't be so much a kickoff to another football season, as it'll be more like a renewal of your yearly subscription of getting the ever-loving hell beaten out of you. Jay Sawvel is hoping a new offensive coordinator changes everything. After years of watching Wyoming struggle to throw the football, Christian Taylor comes in with a more balanced offense, and he even brought his quarterback with him. Tyler Hughes was a star at William & Mary, throwing for over 2,300 yards while adding 11 rushing touchdowns. That's exactly the kind of dual threat this offense has been missing. The defense should still be solid. They allowed just 20.5 points per game last season. And while only 2 starters return, technically, a lot of key contributors are back. The concern is the same one Wyoming fans have had since Josh Allen left. Sure, he can throw the ball, but who in the name of God is catching that shit? The receiver room still doesn't have a proven playmaker, and the cornerbacks are replacing multiple transfers after losing Tyrese Boss, Marquis Grant, and Danasis Miller. Wyoming's defense will definitely keep them in a lot of games this year, and if Tyler Hughes can finally give the Cowboys a consistent passing attack and a wide receiver can step the fuck up, they could surprise some people. If it doesn't happen, it'll be up to the defense to win games 17-13 every goddamn Saturday, which, if you ask me, is not the kind of fall people want to deal with in fucking Wyoming. In my opinion, with Boise gone, UNLV may feel like this is their conference to lose. Anything short of a title will be a major disappointment. That said, you do have the wrinkle of North Dakota State coming in and crashing the Mountain West party. Under new NCAA rules, the Bison are now eligible for conference title and bowl games in their first year without a waiver. And I think they will come storming out and take the title right out from under UNLV's nose. Buckle the fuck up and prepare for the rise of the Bison, boys.
Getting back to what I let go.